So, election day is coming fast here in Los Angeles and all across California. And people need to really think hard about what they're doing this time around, because this is not just about names on a ballot. This is not just about Democrat versus Republican. This is about power. This is about power. This is about who keeps it. This is about who controls it. This is about who benefits from it. This is about who gets left outside the room once the decisions are already made.
And remember, we use this crazy top two system. So in many seats, there is a possibility that two Democrats will emerge in the runoff, locking the Republicans out. Too many seats, we're seeing Republicans splitting the vote, and there's still a risk in the governor's race of a shutout.
That right there is one of the most important parts of this whole video. California's top two system means if voters are asleep during the primary, they may wake up later with no real choice in the general election. See, that's the trick. See, most people think November is the real election, but people who understand power know that the primary can be where the game is already decided. That's why people in Los Angeles cannot treat this like background noise. You cannot wait till everything is already locked in and then complain about the options you have left.
By sharing our Reform California voter guide, by sharing this voter guide, you make things simple for the low information voters. Most people don't vote because they're not reminded to by someone like you. But secondly, they just don't know what's on the ballot. Ignorance. They really don't want to do the research. And so that's why the Reform California Plain English Voter Guide exists. And you can use this as the best tool to get your friends, family, and neighbors to vote and vote the right way. The voter guide also helps us unite our base, our side of the voter platform, behind one principled fighter in each race so that it reduces the risk of a shutout. Go to the website electionguidecalifornia.org, electionguidecalifornia.org. Text this website, electionguidecalifornia.org, to your friends, email it. Just give them the website verbally, electionguidecalifornia.org. When they go to the website, all they have to do is put in the county that they live in, and up will pop a full plain English voter guide. We flag 90 local tax increases hidden on the ballot. And that's those tax increases are under false titles, very confusing language. We cover all the local ballot measures to make it super simple what you're voting on.
This part matters too, because most regular people are not sitting around reading every ballot measure, every local race, every fine print tax proposal, every title written in political language. Folks are working. Folks are paying rent. People are trying to keep their lights on. People are trying to survive in Los Angeles. And that is exactly why confusing ballot language benefits insiders. Because when the average voter is overwhelmed, the organized political machine has the advantage. They already know what they want. They already know who protects their access. They already know which laws keep their side in power. The regular citizen is the one trying to figure it out at the last minute.
Turnout is everything in these low turnout primary midterm elections. We started out this month with an astounding number of Republicans voting, nearly 37%, 38% at one point of the share of the return ballots. And Democrats were only 41%. We'll take a look at these numbers here. As I told you in a previous podcast earlier this week, the numbers were going to shift very quickly because Democrats, we expect, will surge at the end. We believe they've been holding onto their ballot because they haven't decided who they want to impose on us in the governor's race. And then more of them are now deciding. And so they're surging. So whereas they were only 41% of the share of return ballots earlier in the month, now they're 45%, 44.9. Republicans went from 37 and some change down to 34.4. Where do I think these numbers will end up when all the ballots come in? Republicans probably at best at 30%, maybe in the high 20s. Democrats will spike to 50, 51%. You understand that surge increases the risk of a shutout.
This is the part folks really, really need to hear. Turnout is everything. Not hashtags, not arguments online, not complaints in the comment section. Turnout. The people who understand power show up. The people who want contracts show up. The people who want access show up. The people who benefit from the system, they show up. So the question is, are regular people going to show up too? But if you don't be shocked when the same machine keeps producing the same results.
Here is another one. Becerra leads governor's race with Hilton and Steyer in tight contest for second place. This is from the University of California, Berkeley IGS and LA Times. It shows 25% support for Becerra. And then Hilton at 21% and 19% for Steyer, only a 2-point lead. You've got a lot of Democrats still undecided. And remember, Becerra has hundreds of millions of dollars that he's spending to buy the office. Bianco is at 11%. Hilton is at 21%. So a 10-point differential there. I am very worried if these numbers are correct. And this is a more recent poll than the PPIC poll. I'm very worried that Steyer could end up in second place. Hilton could fall short just by fractions of a point. So when I told you that there's a risk of a shutout of Republicans, that the idea of 2 Republicans being in the runoff was a fantasy, I meant it. And the data in the last hours of this campaign, all of them, red warning signs.
See, this is where the math becomes the warning. Small margins matter. A few points here and there matter. A few thousand votes matter. And that's why the political class fights so hard over these systems. They understand that power is not always taken dramatically. Sometimes power is preserved through turnout, through ballot structure, through confusion, through timing, through making sure the opposition splits apart before the real fight even starts.
Let me talk to you about the bill that Newsom signed. Here's the headline. New California law bans law enforcement from interfering in state elections. Why would law enforcement interfere with state elections? ABC7 in LA has a more blunt headline, biased. Newsom signs bill to protect California ballot, says Trump doesn't believe in free and fair elections. So what does the bill do? He actually signed two bills. Number one, it says that federal law enforcement is not allowed anywhere near polling centers, and that specifically it calls out ICE, Immigrations and Custom Enforcement, that ICE agents are not allowed around polling stations. So he signed that bill into law. He signed a second bill into law that says that state and local law enforcement, like your sheriff, your district attorney, are not allowed to investigate election-related crimes and issue subpoenas and get ballots and review ballots as evidence. So he's not just saying Trump is bad. He's saying every elected sheriff, every elected district attorney, even the Democrat ones, can't be trusted to do what every district attorney and sheriff across the country is empowered to do, which is if there's a crime, you investigate it. And if something shows that a crime has actually occurred, you can prosecute and you can obtain evidence and secure evidence so that you can make your case, that you can conduct your investigation, but not in California.
Now, here comes Gavin Newsom, of course, signing emergency election legislation right before the primary. Supporters say this is about protecting elections from interference. Critics say this is about limiting who can investigate and who can challenge what happens inside the system. But either way, the timing should make voters pay attention. Because here's the question. Why do politicians move with lightning speed when their own power might be threatened, but when the people need help, suddenly everything slows down? Homelessness, years. Crime, we need committees. Corruption, well, we need studies. Audit problems, we have to delay that. Housing costs, excuses. But when the political machine feels dangerous, suddenly everybody knows how to act fast. That is what people need to understand. This is not about protecting the people. This is not about protecting you or me. A lot of this is about protecting the party, protecting the machine, protecting wealth, access, protecting the people who already sit close to power.
Basically saying that Trump is going to show up at these polling centers in California with law enforcement agents, ICE agents, suppress the vote amongst illegal immigrants. And I asked this on the floor because I voted against both these bills. I said, are you suggesting, Democrats, that we need to pass a bill to ban ICE from showing up at polling centers? Are you suggesting that there would be a reason for ICE to show up, because they're only supposed to go after illegal immigrants. And there was no response. Why? If you say that there are no non-citizens on the voter rolls, why would we need a bill saying ICE can't show up at the polling centers?
Now, I'm not here to tell you what to think, but I am telling you what to ask. You see, when politicians pass emergency laws around elections, I'd like you to ask a simple question. What problem are they solving? Who benefits from the solution? And who is being kept away from the process? Because once you understand politics through that lens, the whole game starts looking a whole lot different. It stops looking like compassion. It stops looking like public service. It starts looking like power management.
Let the feds kick the tires. Let the feds look at what's going on. Let the Riverside sheriff and district attorney review what happened. They are looking at why was there a discrepancy in the number of ballots that were cast in Riverside versus ultimately the number of ballots in the Prop 50 election that were reported statewide. I think people would like to know. You shouldn't, fear that sort of transparency. Because one of the things we're dealing with is a lack of public trust and confidence in our elections. So hysteria on the eve of an election, and I would venture to guess that at least one of these bills will be ruled unconstitutional, the one dealing with federal agents. And it's a shame that basically Newsom is saying, with the other bill saying that local government, local sheriffs and prosecutors cannot investigate. It's a shame, because what it means is that, once again, the ones that say there's no voter fraud going on, well, you've banned prosecutors and law enforcement from looking into allegations of voter fraud. You've tied their hands. So now you're saying, the media needs to report the fact that there is no fraud going on in California elections. Oh, but you're not allowing them to investigate?
And that brings us to the biggest issue. Trust. Folks don't trust institutions anymore. They don't trust City Hall. They do not trust Sacramento, and they shouldn't. They don't trust politicians who say one thing before elections and do something completely different after they win. So if the system is clean, transparency should make people more confident, right? But when leaders act like only certain people are allowed to ask questions, that creates more suspicion. Definitely not less. And this is where Los Angeles voters have to wake up, because this city has been living under the results of political habit. People keep voting the same way. Then they act shocked when the city keeps getting worse. At some point, you have to stop asking what party someone belongs to and start asking what their leadership actually produced. Look at the streets. Look at the cost of living. Look at the homelessness. Look at the corruption. Look at the schools. Look at the businesses leaving. Look at the people who can barely afford to stay here. Then ask yourself one serious question. Are you voting for results, or are you voting out of habit? Because the people in power are counting on your habit. They're counting on confusion. They're counting on loyalty without accountability. And they're counting on regular people being too distracted to notice the real game. Election day is coming, and Los Angeles has to think hard, not emotionally, not tribally, not because a celebrity told you what to do, not because a party told you who the enemy was. Think about your life. Think about your neighborhood. Think about what has actually changed. And think about who benefits when nothing changes at all. Because that's the real trick of the matter. That's the real trick of the matter. It was never just about helping the people. For a lot of politicians, it's about keeping power, keeping wealth, keeping access, keeping the machine alive. This is Wolf Kage Los Angeles. And I'm telling you, pay attention before the choice is already made for you.